Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here. And today we are talking about Facebook because I'm going to show you all the ways that Facebook's app tracks you. This is what we know, and this is courtesy of Apple's new operating system. And I didn't think I'd be doing multiple PowerPoint presentations in my videos today, or rather this week, but we have had some huge stories, such as SolarWinds, and now this is heating up. And I think this affects everybody that uses Facebook, whether you're on an Apple mobile phone like an iPhone or you're on an Android. Now, this is coming from various sources, but a lot of the screenshots you're going to see here, I actually got from Mashable, and thank you, Mashable, for letting me steal these from you. It was a really good article. But aside from that, if you didn't know, let's dive right in here. Apple released their new iOS 14.3 update this past Monday. Now, iOS is the operating system that runs your iPhone and your iPad, if you didn't know. And oh man, did Apple turn up the enumeration of how the Facebooks of the world and basically all the apps are collecting the hell out of your data. Now, Apple is basically offering a how developers may handle your data feature that lists out all the ways that any app you download is collecting your info. And so with that, let's go to the screenshots that I got from Mashable. And I think this is going to blow your mind with what Facebook is actually collecting. This is going to take a while. Now, with that, let's start with some of the basics here. So essentially, the data that they are collecting to track you, third-party advertising. So you've got your contact info, your identifiers, other data, all that kind of stuff. Developers advertising and or marketing, also getting contactors, identifying you, other data. They're collecting analytics on you with a lot of this as well. Product personalization. You'll note that they are also collecting identifiers. It just keeps going. App functionality is collecting a whole bunch of information on you. Other purposes, whatever the heck that means, they are collecting this as well. Data that is linked to you, basically connected to you in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not necessarily in the Facebook app. I'm looking for clarification, but look at this. Facebook is getting your purchases, your financial information, your location, contacts, user content, search history, browsing history, usage data, any kind of diagnostic data, which we expect apps to collect, and other data, whatever that means. That could be IMEI numbers that are unique to your phone, or UID, whatever that is. They are collecting this for you. And if you think we're done, we are absolutely not, because developers, advertising, or marketing is doing the same thing. Advertising and marketing is also collecting usage data, browsing history, search history, user content, and on and on and on. It is absolutely bonkers. We are nowhere near done again. Let's go back to the analytics. Now we've got health and fitness being collected on you. That would be outside of Facebook's purview. Financial information, again, contacts, your contacts are getting hit, search history, browsing history, sensitive info. I like that in the bottom right-hand side. Sensitive info, you tell me what that means, but I'm wondering, and I'm curious, this is what the data is that Facebook is gathering when you install the Facebook app, and we're not done. Product personalization, so how you are personalizing things, also collecting this kind of information. Why? Why do they need all of this? Still not done. The functionality of the app, also getting health and fitness, your search history. And look at this, under user and content, emails and text messages, photos and videos, audio data, gameplay content, all this kind of stuff that Facebook is simply collecting. And I will talk about Facebook's response to this as well, because they are not happy that Apple exposed this. And if you think we're done, we're not. Let's go to the next one. Other purposes, whatever that is. They are also collecting search history and browsing history and email addresses and contact information and photos and videos and all this kind of stuff for other purposes. Now, as I mentioned, Facebook has responded to this and they aren't happy. Now, this is coming from the New York Times. And to quote the New York Times, on Wednesday, Facebook went on the offensive to forestall Apple's changes. The social network created a website that slammed Apple's moves as potentially hurtful to small businesses. It did not mention that changes could hurt itself. To reinforce this displeasure, Facebook also took out full page ads in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the Financial Times to declare it was, quote, standing up to Apple. What you see on your screen here are the actual shots of the advertisements that they put in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the Financial Times. And to continue with the New York Times, and then to doubly emphasize its point, Facebook said it would provide information for an antitrust suit against Apple filed by Epic Games. If you're not familiar with that, the maker of Fortnite, so that the court would understand, quote, the unfair policies that Apple imposes. Now, what they're talking about here is Epic Games and a handful of game makers are basically not a fan of how Apple is collecting money from them, and they believe that that is too high. Epic Games, which is a massive, I believe they're $1 billion plus company now, are looking to have Apple change the way that developers are paying Apple or how Apple is receiving money. It's a complete mess. I'm not going to dive into Epic Games because we are talking about Facebook data collection here. You can Google that one. And so this is the situation on the ground. And you can see here that their wording is very strong. Apple versus the free internet. Okay, we're standing up to Apple for small businesses everywhere. Sure, okay, take it for what you will. This is what they are actually saying. And so my question here is, what's next? I mean, Facebook is facing antitrust lawsuits right now from the United States government, multiple United States states themselves, the European Union, and more for their practices. Remember, they own Instagram, WhatsApp, and other apps as well. And so this is going to be, I think, a thorn in Facebook's side that Apple is really poking them on, but Facebook is definitely not going to want to remove their app from Apple because there are a bajillion iPhone users out there and they need the revenue. And when somebody leaves Facebook, they're going to lose revenue, just a little bit of revenue. But if it happens in mass, meaning tens of millions of iPhone users, then they're simply going to lose out on that revenue stream. Now, Apple's biggest competitor with its iPhone is Google with its Android. They are the two largest platforms, and Android has way more deployments than iPhone does because it's a much more open ecosystem. And so then the question is, will Google actually step up and start giving us this kind of information like Apple has enumerated? Here's my thought on this. No, Google is not going to do this because Google, like Facebook, data mines the bejesus out of absolutely everyone. So giving Android users, whether you're Samsung or HTC or LG or whatever you use, giving those users a look into how Google itself is data mining us, not to mention all of the apps that you install from third parties from the Android store, Google Play, it just doesn't seem feasible. I think it would take a court order for the Android operating system to get that. And so while you have a ton of defendable options, using the Android from a cybersecurity standpoint, such as integrating firewalls and antivirus in a way that iPhone doesn't, when it comes to enumeration of how you're being data mined, Apple just turned it up to 11, and that is a huge, huge thing. Facebook and a whole bunch of others are going to be very, very nervous about this because now every time you go to install the Facebook app, let's say you're a brand new user, you're going to scroll page after page after page. I literally just gave you 10 slides of this. And you're going to say, why on earth are they collecting all of this information? I'm not going to put this on my phone. I'll skip it. I'll just skip it. That is what we are talking about here. And so as we know, as we start to gain an understanding of this, the call then becomes to get a law for user privacy. The European Union has the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulations. The United States doesn't have anything like this. Some states like California have the CCPA, New York has SHIELD. Here in Illinois, we have the biometric law, but this is a potential game changer, because now you can see exactly where they are. I think the next level of this too is understanding the origins of where your apps are being made. I've done multiple videos on TikTok, which is out of China, and just the sheer insanity that TikTok is for data mining you. But most people don't realize that is coming from a Chinese company. Do you know where all of your apps are made? Before I download or install anything into one of my devices, I'm looking up where the corporate headquarters are, where they're developing, all of these kinds of things to make sure that I have recourse under that country's law if I want to remove my data legally from their ecosystem. That's the next level of this. But Apple did a really good thing here. They're really stepping that up. I'm a big fan, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Now that you know this, now that you've seen page after page after page, and if you're listening to me here on podcast, again, like yesterday, you might want to go check out this slideshow. Will you install Facebook into your iPhone or even your Android? Let me know. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at Nick AESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe and stay online and apparently stay away from data mining. Thanks, guys.